June 2019, standing in front of an absolutely beautiful blue hydrangea plant, and just look at that. Doesn't that look lovely? Look at these flowers, and they are varying in colour. I imagine this is because it depends on the age of the flower, when it came out, so to speak. But these ones here, look, are a lovely, just try and get out the shadow, a lovely like sky blue colour, and this one here's got a purpley tinge. Oh, little hoverfly there, look. And you can just see, if I pan the old camera around, just how beautiful, like a slightly sort of darker blue, almost purpley colour here. And of course these flowers down here, these are, well, I imagine they're last year's flowers. They need cutting off, but my goodness, doesn't it just look absolutely beautiful and healthy? So hydrangeas can tolerate UK winters. We had that beast from the east last year, which went down to about -12, and this plant well and truly survived that. I've been looking at this plant now for the last 18 months or so, and it's just really, really lovely. And it's a lovely plant to introduce to your garden if you want a bit of colour, for whatever reason. And one nice thing about them is you can actually alter the colour of the flowers, apparently. Now, I've not actually had a go at this myself, but it's an area of study that I'm very, very interested in, and I'm going to be looking into that and hopefully be doing a video on that in the future. So loads of reasons to grow these, the beauty, insects love them, bees, hoverflies, things like that. And if you're into flower arranging or whatever, these are held in very high regard in floristry, I believe. I've got a friend of mine who is into floristry, and she's uses hydrangeas in them, and they really do look lovely. Actually, they're just a really, really beautiful flower to grow. I mean, different colours, you can get different types. These ones like sort of full sun, or at least sun most of the day, but you can get climbing hydrangeas as well, which you can actually grow in north-facing areas. They don't need that much sun, the climbing ones. So they're very versatile and very much worth looking into. So they can suffer from deficiencies. My understanding is they can suffer from a nitrogen deficiency, and this can sort of show on the plant where the leaves, now these leaves are lovely and healthy, but they can get like a sort of red bit round the edge, reddy brown, and that can indicate a nitrogen deficiency. You can get feeds for this as well. You can of course make your own feeds as well, but so this one is grown in the ground. Now you can grow these in containers and pots, and I do indeed have a video on how you can go about doing that. I will link that down below. So if you're running out of space in your garden or your allotment or wherever you're going to, you want to grow one, but for whatever reason you haven't got space anymore in the garden, or you just want to put one out the front or something, you can actually grow them in a pot. So when you're growing them in a pot, they will require feeding, because as you water them, what can quite often happen is you actually wash the nutrients out of the soil. And that's only natural, really. And they do say that if your plants are starting to show sort of like a sign of a nutrient deficiency, you may well indeed be overwatering them. And if it is suffering from this, now for instance, maybe it's a very rainy sort of time, where the plant is, or maybe you are watering it just too much. They say if it's suffering from this, maybe just half the, how am I going to put this, half the amount of times that you're watering it. So for instance, let's say you're watering it every day, maybe you could try just watering it 3 days a week, and then give it some feed, and hopefully the plant should then be able to sort of regain its sort of nutrients, so to speak, and look a lot more sort of healthy. And another little thing I've been informed of is when you get like the browning of the leaves like this can also be to do with, like, if a plant hasn't had water for a while, or for whatever reason, then suddenly takes up a lot of water, it can then cause the cells in the leaves to break almost, thus resulting in that brown sort of tinge on the leaves, if you will, which can look a little bit unsightly. So yeah, that's a little bit about hydrangeas, a little bit that I know, and it's certainly a thing that I want to look more into, for my own sort of garden. I want to be getting different colours, different varieties, whatever, and I just think so many good reasons for growing these. So they're a nice hardy shrub, beautiful flowers. Animals love animals, insects love them, pollinating insects, and they're just absolutely beautiful. Now sometimes when you're buying these, you know, you can pay what some could consider a fair degree for a hydrangea plant. Now, of course, that's a matter of personal opinion, and if a plant has been lovingly cared for and brought to you in a beautiful standard, then I think, you know, a higher price is indeed justified, because it's not easy to just you know, bring on plants like this, look after them, nurture them, etc., etc. But sometimes you can find these in like the budget shops, you know, the bargain shops at the right time of year. They'll only be small, but you can maybe pick yourself up a beautiful bargain. Okay, so it's worth looking around for. Of course, you can go to a you know, a garden centre. You know, you go to garden centre. You can go to a, you know, your local sort of DIY store, and they may have them, and they're, you know, they're widely available. But certainly lovely plants, and absolutely lovely. There we go. Now, I don't know how true this is, okay, but this might just be a little bit of a, you know, what's the term? I don't know, fable or whatever, but I've been informed that when you water these, you should try and get a little bit of water on the leaves, because apparently it benefits the flowers, and hence the term hydrangea. They like to be hydrated this way. Now, I've been told this by a florist, and I'm not 100% sure if it's correct. I'm not a florist, okay? But anyone out there know, does this benefit the flowers? Does it benefit the plant? Is it worth doing? Because of course, if it rains, then naturally, you know, the water will, you know, fall on them. And, you know, if you're watering it, if you're watering it yourself, maybe in a dry spell, you might just be pouring the water down there, not getting it on the flowers. Maybe one could do a sort of case study on it. If you had one, you know, in a pot in a dry place, you could water half but not the other. I don't know, or maybe I'm just looking into things a bit too much here. But it would be interesting to know if anybody out there has got any, you know, ideas, thoughts or feelings on this subject. Okay peeps, so that's about what I know about hydrangeas. Check out my video about creating growing mediums for them. And let's just spend the remainder of the video looking at close-ups of the beautiful flowers. If you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. So you can get an idea of the size of these flowers. I'll put my hand there.